Hello all, today I'm taking a look at a really weird name for a game, Stinky Business. And this plays 2 to 5, so a bit of a varied mix there. And it's going to take you about 60 to 90 minutes and it's medium, sort of light complexity as well. Now, I have played 2 games now and they were both, what was it? It was a 2-player game and a 3-player game. Would I probably play it at 4 and 5? I think so. It's actually relatively quick. It's quite streamlined. And once you've played one play, it kind of all makes sense what you're going to have to do. But I'll talk more about my opinions after. But what are you doing then? So you are processing and recycling a waste, and that is the name of the game. You've got this big deck here full of different types of garbage, and there's plastics, there's paper, there's random stuff that's garbage that cannot be recycled. So that's all kind of shuffled here. You've got another deck which has got your premium recyclable goods. So you've got aluminium and all sorts of glass here and all sorts of metals there. So that is a separate stash there. You've got a bit of prep, a few cards here and a few cards here. Now, when these cards get handed to you, which is one of the first things you're going to do, they're kind of flow through the game into number 1, and then they're all going to sort of cycle through to number 2, then 3, and into the discard pile. So getting this in your head is important. It will make your first play a lot more understandable. You're basically cycling this waste through here, and you're investing in various ways to recycle it here. The further you are this way, the first dibs you've got on that trash. If you start investing over here, well, you're going to be recycling this trash, and that has already maybe been processed and recycled by other players. So by the time it gets to you, there's not a lot left. So you have to really think about where you're going to build these sort of little houses I've got just on the side here. And you've only got so many of them depending on your player account. So you have to think, where am I going to invest? Maybe you want to invest here in the incineration, which is basically, if any cards that are remaining, it doesn't matter what they are, you take 2 out, and depending on the order and if there's any cards remaining, you just get a little bit of a revenue income stream there. And what else have we got? We've got a bit of end game VPs I'll go through. You've got some resources which are limited in terms of what you can build on these areas here. So you've got these areas you can potentially open up. You've got the cheapest one, bio. You've got paper, plastic, glass, and aluminium, and you can see the costs go up. And these are your stations for recycling. You want to open these up so you can process a bio in this case. And depending on how many of these tokens you've got here will determine how many cards you can stash in here. So at the moment, we could put 2 cards in here, which is great because whatever the value is on those cards, you can see I've got a few here. If you do put a bio on here, 2 times, well, there's no multipliers, it'll be 2 money you will get when you process this waste at that recycling plant. Now you'll notice there's actually some multipliers. So if I have one of them and I get a multiplier of 2, it's then going to be 2 times the 2 is 4 money. And if I have these 2 here, it's going to be up to 2 goods. Maybe I've got another 2 there as well. So 2 times the 2 is 4, and the other one will be 4 as well. So that's what these are all about. So how is a turn going to flow? The first thing you're going to do is you're all going to take 4 cards from the top of the deck. So you've got your 4 cards and you've got an important decision to make. Which one of these cards are you going to keep? You have to keep one. So you're looking at it going, wow, I've managed to get a bio with a number 3. And you can see at the top of the board, it gives you a range of what is in the bio. So there's a load of 1s, 2s, a couple of 3s. So we've got 1 of the 3 3s out there. You can see papers just stuck at number 2. You got the yellows, which is plastics, there's a couple of 6s. So that gives you a good insight as to what cards are out there and the value. So I'm definitely going to keep this one. Now I can keep up to 2 cards in my hand. If my hand is full and I didn't want to play them out here, I'm going to have to take that trash and put it in kind of landfill, which is next to me. And that's worth negative points at the end of the game, unless there is one of these little symbols here, a little trophy, it's worth 1 VP. So I'll go over that on the end game scoring. But your decision now is which card I'm going to take. So I'm going to take this one, keep that in front of me. That's my hand limit of 2. The rest goes in here. So every player is going to do that. And it doesn't matter what the player counter is. There's going to be 3 cards from every player. Let's say we're playing a 2-player game. So 6 cards there. You then take 1 card from this special pile. So these are all these sort of gold star ones. You pop that in there and you top this pile up to 12 cards. So let's say there's another few cards added. You then give this a good shuffle, and that was the first sort of attaining your cards. The next thing you're going to do is investment. So we are looking at the first player, which I think you randomly choose, and they are going to invest in these areas here, incineration, or maybe you're going to go and buy some of these tokens. So let's start off with these recyclable areas, and you can see this costs for placing your houses there. So say I'm yellows and I wanted to go here. Well, that is going to cost me, where are we? So 3 coins per house. Boom, pay 3 coins and I can place a house there. Now, they're kind of distinguished by rows, should we call them. So once you're there, you know, that is my little row. It's got a little segment and it's called an unlimited action. So there's limited actions and unlimited. And I'll kind of go through what they are, but this is a limited action because you've only got so many houses and there's only so many spots here for limited. So I placed that, paid free money. That was my go done. I could also do some unlimited actions, which are basically paying again free money, and I can put a second house here, and that isn't, you know, that's still within my turn. I might want to go and purchase some of these multipliers, which are known as unlimited actions as well. Right, so that's one area you can go. And what it's actually doing here? Well, when it comes to the next round, where you're actually processing or attaining these cards, you can have first dibs at this pile, and the number above it says how many cards you're going to take. So here, I'm going to get to take 2 cards randomly from there. If I have done that unlimited one, I've expanded this plan here, is a +1. So that's 2 plus the 1, 3 cards I can get from that deck. Now another player can come along and they're like, right, I'm going here to invest. Maybe, you know, yellows could go there again on a future turn and go there, but you can only invest in one thing on this turn, well, limited at least. So that's where you can go and build there. You could also go here on another turn if you wanted to. And again, this is slightly more premium because you have access to this pile. And you can see there's a cost of free money with the padlock before you can even open up that area. So the first player to go there has to pay free money, and then each house is going to cost $5. This one is even more lucrative because you're getting first dibs on this pile and no one's touched that. And if you get here first, you are going to have the option to take 2 cards from there, and that could be some lucrative trash. I've never spoke so excitedly about trash, guys. That's just what this game does to you. So, but this one is expensive. It's going to cost you $5 for the first player to unlock it, and then anyone can go there after. But each house is 12 money, which is a lot, but it's premium. So that's what these spots are here. It's about getting access to these decks. If you don't have any colours there, well, you ain't getting any access to those. If you have multiple, say you've managed to do this sort of strategy, well, let's say you've gone up here and you've got one there and everyone else is lagging behind, like, yellows have got there first. Well, yellow is going to get 2 cards from this pile first. They're going to keep as many as they want. Then they're going to get another 3 cards from the remaining. And then blue's going to get the, you know, 3 cards from whatever is remaining. Then this round it's going to go 2 cards for yellow from this deck and 2 for blue. So you're trying to just get the best trash before everyone else. Maybe you want to go and invest on one of these spots. So you can pay whichever cost you want. The more expensive, it's giving you priority. So this player here is going to get the first 2 cards from the deck and they're going to get discarded and they're going to get 2 money for both cards. Not 4 money, it's 2 money for both of the cards there. So depending on where you want to go there, that's incineration. Nice little way to get revenue. You can also just say, I don't want to invest in anything, and you get $5, which you kind of have to do once or twice in your game because you just need money. Right, what else can you invest in? You can invest in these, the capability to process that trash. So maybe you want to go and buy one of these bios, you place it here and you pay 4 money. Now that is a limited resource. There's only so many of these. Dependent on the player count, it's reminding you how many to put in the game. And you have all of these multipliers. I just haven't stashed them all up yet. So you can also do an unlimited action. So maybe I want to go and take one of these multipliers as well. Now you have to start with a ×2 and then you build it to a ×3 and a ×4, which hogs your space. So for example, bio. I want to go and buy that. It's going to cost me 4. Maybe I want to go and get another one. So ×3, another 4. And then I can play that one. So I could do all those unlimited actions in my go. It's just one limited action. So have a look at the rule book. Not really a great reference guide on this. It really could do something on the back of the guide there, but I've been on the Geek and there's a couple of options there you can have on your phone or print out ready that really explain this well. So here you can see I've done my limited action and I've bought all those. Not that I probably would have that much money in my first turn as well. You start with like 15 money and then everyone else gets 1 coin extra each as you go along. But this is great in terms of playing this bio card, which I could play at any point on my turn. And that now means I can sell this 1 capacity. So I could got 1 card 3 times the 4 is 12. You don't kind of multiply them all, it's just giving you the ability to level up. You need the times 2 and the 3, and the 4 you couldn't just randomly go and get a times 4 straight away. So that would give me 12 money, but you got to think I've invested 12 money alone here just to buy all these. Now you can replace these out at some stage and put them back. It's a little bit inefficient with your money expenditure. So that is investment. The next thing you're going to do, let's say the state of play was, yellows were here, well, not likely on the first few turns, red were there, green were there. You are going to cycle through the trash and actually get these cards. So you go from left to right, so reds get first dibs, no one's in red, yellows here, so they're going to take 2 cards. So these would have been shuffled. They take the 2 cards, now they can keep as many of these as they wish. Now remember, your hand limit is still 2, so if they did take 1 and keep it here, they'd have to make a decision on this final card. Are they going to put it back, which you can do? Are you going to put it straight into one of these areas that you've opened up? You can't store anything in paper, even though that's garbage. Let's say plastic. You couldn't just store anything there because you need to purchase one of these, and they're limited, remember. So you have to make that decision. What am I keeping and what am I not? So you've decided to keep, say, the plastic in this case, and you're putting that garbage back. No one wants the garbage. It then goes over to this sector. Reds are at first. They're going to take 2 cards. And they're like, right, I don't want either of them. We're going to put them back, shuffle them up. Then it's green. They're going to take 2 cards. And you can see, it's kind of a catch-up mechanism. The further back you are, the more cards you get to pick. But is there anything left that's worth picking? That's the question. So they've shuffled them. And they've now got 2 bios. So you can see, you're kind of pressing your luck to try and get the most out of whatever's, left here. So they're like, okay, I could keep both, I could discard both, or just keep one or the other. So they're going to keep, a bio, keep that next to their table and put the other one back. So you've cycled through any incineration, if there's any cards even remaining here, because imagine this was a very lucrative deck. It's been pillaged here, and there might only be sort of 3 cards left there. And if this was the state of play where it was blue, yellow, and you can have multiples here, yellow again, the first 2 cards would be incinerated by blue. They just get discarded. They've made their 2 money. The next 2, yellows managed to do it. But let's say there's only 1 card left. Well, it's not enough to incinerate. So this player, even though they've invested in this incineration plant, isn't going to, that round at least, be able to incinerate 2 cards to get the money. Now, how much money are you actually going to get then? So you can see, as you unlock these further, that's what these sort of little incineration symbols are. So initially, you're getting 2 money for those 2 cards. If this area is unlocked, it's 3 money. But if this area is unlocked, it's 5 money. Now, they don't add up, it's just that amount. So it'd be 5 money for the 2 cards. So that's how you can make some money through incineration. You are then going to actually process these cards. So let's say we had a bio plant and we actually managed to get a plastic one. Well, everyone, you can play those cards at any point into here if you want to free up your hand a little bit. So then everyone simultaneously is going to go, all right, 3 money for that one, and that goes in the discard. 2 money for that one. But if I have had a multiplier there, 2 times the 2 would have been 4. So it's where you're going to make these investments and what sort of cards you're trying to aim for. Then you just reset it. You're literally going to move these cards up into the discard. And it does say to remove the glass and aluminium out of it. Not too sure why, because I don't think you bring those back in, because at points the deck will be, need replenishing because they're all in the discard. So you kind of bring that deck back, shuffle them again. Didn't say anywhere that I could gather that you actually reshuffle a number of glass or aluminium in there, but they are very scarce anyway. So these cycle up, and then you can see that the trash that was here is now here for these guys to pillage, and then that will move over through the rounds. In terms of number of rounds, you've got 10 of these cards here that are all the nice gold ones, 10 rounds, then you will score points. So what are you doing for points then? You're going to get 1 point for each combined area in the greens. And now what I mean by that is these are going to score you no points, but once you've done that unlimited action and you've got both there synergized up, that is 1 point. In the yellow sector, you're going to get 2 points for each synergy. Now you can have multiples here. Maybe you got 2 sets there, so that's going to be 4 points. Red's a bit more lucrative. It's 3 points for each set. You're then going to tally your money, and it's 1 point per 5. You're going to get 1 point for each incineration. You're going to get 1 victory point. Remember those garbage ones of these that you put in your landfill, so you're going to get points for those. Now, depending on how many of these you have opened, if you've managed to open all 5, which is basically where you put one of these tokens on each one, Great, that's 10 points. For 4 of them, it's 6. For 3 of them, it's 3. You're going to get -1 for each card that is in your trash. Not that one, just some of the other random grey ones. So if that's, they're all victory point ones. But anyway, any greys without that, it's going to be -1. Any of these colour ones that you've put in there are -2, because why are you putting glass into landfill? You should be recycling that. And any of the special ones here are -3. Now, these are very lucrative. You can see, processing that is 10 money. And if you've got a multiplier, it's 10 times the 2. And whoever has the most VPs is the winner. So what do I think then? The first play was, I wasn't enamoured by it. Now, the reason was it just didn't make sense. It felt very sort of basic, right? I'm like, okay, I've took 4 cards, I've kept one card. Wow, the options aren't exactly exciting. I'm then going through this investment phase. Money felt tight, and I'm like, well, where am I going? So we kind of all invested in this one because that's the money we had to do something. And then it came around to processing stuff, and we're like, well, I haven't invested in these, or maybe you managed to get 1 or 2 up and running, and you've already sort of, a third the way through the game. And then you're processing something, you're like, well, I've only made 4 money there, or I've got a ×2, whoopie-doo, I've got 8 money now. So the money flow was very slow. And then, it only started to click in the last third of the game. And there's not much content out there, so hopefully I can give you a heads up in that first play that it is worth sticking out. And it was understanding the flow of this trash. It then became apparent, sort of investing here early on wasn't the best strategy. Yes, it's cheaper and cheerful, but you really want to probably save up to get in here, because having first access to this meant the odds of you picking the better cards were greater. And that means you could get higher number cards based on, the probabilities, and then you're investing in certain areas and getting more money back for your investment. I found investing in these was quite handy. It was kind of a lucrative sort of income stream from round to round. Some of these, it's a payoff. Do you want more, storage? So if you've got 2 of these, you can actually store 2, which is great, because if you're searching for it and you come across 2 really good plastics at 6 each, and you can only store 1, well, you're in trouble. So, are you going to go for multipliers, or are you going to go for storage, which is interesting. Now, come the second play, having known what to do, it was a lot more exciting, because it was a race to get here and then here, and it meant, these 2 areas were highly contested for. Now, that was a 3-player game on the second one, and it played similar times. It played smoothly. We all sort of understood the power of these areas and what limited resources we were going for. Now, there's not the world of options and like 4 things you're going for. You're going to go here, you're going to get these, you're going to get the multipliers, what sort of, incineration. So how you're just trying to get that income to keep you going. And it did have a bit of a runaway leader aspect in terms of, runaway leader. So the first person who got on here had a big advantage. And as you started just getting a bit more money than everyone else, well, you invest in that and you're getting more points. And it's only marginally, because, there's no groundbreaking, sort of secret cards that are going to give you masses of money. It's 5 of these areas, you're getting 10 points. 6, 3, you get 1, 2, 3 there. So it's all very minimal of the points, but it does add up. Now, I think more so you could probably just go wrong in this game rather than, that leader problem where you're streaming ahead. It's more that you might not quite understand what to do. You've invested early here, and actually you're just getting $2 a time, maybe $4, whereas someone else has invested their money wisely and gone here, they're getting the better cards. So, knowing what the game is about and how it flows is crucial just to doing well in it. In terms of the resources here, I think bio was really powerful, because you're only paying 4 money. The max it goes up to is 3. Generally, there's a lot of 2s. 2, get a multiplying early, you're getting sort of 4 money on average, maybe 6 money. Aluminium, I wasn't quite sure, because there's only so many of them cards in the game. You can see there's only, 6, if they even come out, and if you get them, I hogged a few of them from other players from attaining. But you've invested 15 money. There's only 2 spots, so you've maybe put 1 of the tokens and a multiplier, and you're getting a 10 out. 10 times the 2 is 20, so you've clawed back a bit of your investment. But that's probabilities you actually get to do that. So for me, I found aluminium just as an icing on the cake, just to get these 10 points. I didn't invest in it early, and that's another aspect you could go wrong with, is if you invest in the heavier ones thinking, yeah, I'm going to make glass and get 8 money, or I've invested 8 money and I'm going to get a good multiplier on that. Well, it's scarcer. And if you don't get those resources out to make your money back, well, you've wasted time on an investment that isn't, got a good rate of return on. Whereas you want to probably start with the bio and paper. Now, I've only played it twice, 2 free players, as I said. So, I'm not a strategy guru, but that's just what it felt like in the game. In terms of what it looks like, yeah, actually all makes sense. Very, simple to go through, and I think it's quite an easy teach. Plays quickly, and I think it would do with the sort of higher play counts as well. I actually think this game is probably built for higher play counts because of the nature of going through this trash, and by the time it gets to here, there's like absolutely nothing left. So I think this game would be more dynamic and enjoyable at those higher play counts. Now, it did work with 2, and it worked even better with 3. So yes, I'd be curious to try it at 4. 5-play games I tend to stick away from more because there's a bit of AP and just a bit more setup. And I think for this game, the enjoyment for me is that it was quick. I don't think I'd want to necessarily play 2.5 hours of this game because it's just not enough crunchy decisions. So within that sort of 60 to 90 minute mark, it works perfectly. And I don't really think I've got a lot else to say. Now, are you going to find this copy out there? I randomly got given this and I'm glad I did. It was, nice to just try something different. The recycling theme, it does come across nicely. There's a bit of art on the actual cards as to how it actually gets recycled in real life. But is it a keeper? Probably not. There's just too many other good games out there. But I guess if you do come across it, just give it a bash. I think you'll have fun with this one. There we are, Stinky Business. Enjoy.